Hi, everyone, and welcome. This one is going to be in English because I have a guest here, Jennifer Goodwin from the United States. And for those who don't know me, my name is Pichel. I'm from Forum for Democracy, City Council in Dordrecht. And I invited Jennifer to educate us on law versus legal. There's a lot that she knows about it. And I invited her to speak to that concerning what's going on now with men and women who own land and farm. And hey, Jennifer, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, well, thanks for joining me. It's so amazing that you're here and willing to take the time to have this conversation with me.
Yes.
So, you probably know a little bit about what's going on in the Netherlands and
it's happening here too in lots of places. Yeah.
Really, yeah. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot on the news with those that own land and farms. Yeah, and people are getting worried. You know, boundaries are being crossed, and there's a lot to say about that. And so, yeah, what could you teach us? What can you tell us about law versus legal that might benefit these people?
Sure. So let me try and be as succinct as possible, but as detailed as you need to click the light bulbs on. So law is the original system, and legal is the clone. And you need to think about that. Law is the original. Think of it as the creator made it. Just like law of attraction, law of gravity, law of allowance, universal laws, karmic laws, natural law, whatever you want to call it, God's law. It's not man's law. It's the laws that man is supposed to follow. But man came along at some point and said, well, I want my own set of laws because I want to control everybody. And so they created legal. Two totally different systems. Legal is based on law because they had to make it so similar that it tricked you, right? And it got confusing and it sounded like law, but it's not law. And actually, if you're operating in legal, you are most of the time breaking the law. Okay? So how they did this was the creator created man and woman. Man and woman is number 2 on the totem pole under the creator. Okay, so you have the creator at the top, and then you have man and woman, those specific words beneath the creator, number 2 on the totem pole. Man and woman went out around the earth and created governments, societies like the agricultural society, the medical society, the educational society, the legal society. We created buildings, we created court systems, we created paperwork, we created cars and all the things, and farms, right? Well, the creator has authority over its creation. So the only thing that has authority over men and women is the creator. But men and women have the authority over everything that we created. But the bad men and women of the planet who created legal and want to control everybody flipped it. And they made you think that calling yourself a citizen or a farmer, which is a title that they created, they made you think that was a good thing. But because they created it, they have authority over it. So when you take a title like farmer, you are now subject to the rules that they have attached to that title. So you no longer have rights and freedoms like a man or a woman at number 2 on the totem pole. Now you're only given benefits and privileges that can be changed, taken away, tweaked, as we're seeing happen over time.
Okay, so just before you continue, just to make this clear for the people that might watch this, when you look at the part where people call themselves farmer or other people call them farmers, so when they call themselves a farmer, they're subjected to a system. But if instead they would call themselves a man or a woman that would own land or a farm, explain us. What does that mean? What's the difference?
Sometimes farms, a man who owns land and grows crops for his community, for his good wages, for his good works. So yes, that's why we're seeing I have to assume it's a global agenda, but that's why we're seeing the attack on the word man and woman, right? What is a woman? And, you know, LGBTQ, all the things.
Mhm.
It's not, it's to directly attack the number 2 position.
Okay, so let's say we're in this phase where a certain entity or a government is telling the farmer to, you know, to reduce 30 to 50% of his work, or to reduce a part or give back part of his land. What's the difference if somebody would call themselves a man or a woman with land, or a man or a woman owning a farm?
You broke up a little bit.
Oh,
So
yes,
let's say
sorry.
the government, so let's say that you said, let's say the government or an entity is telling the farmer to reduce their land or their production.
Yeah, we're breaking up a bit. I'm sorry. I think it's my connection in the hotel.
Uh-oh.
Do you hear me now? Is it better?
I can hear you.
Okay, continue. Yeah, you were repeating my words. I could get that.
Yeah, the last I heard was, let's say an entity or a government is telling a farmer, you know, to reduce their production or their land, you know, the amount of land they own, and then I didn't hear anything after that.
Versus, yeah, so, and they would call themselves a farmer, versus calling themselves a man or a woman owning land or owning a farm.
So you want to give the title back. You want to give the registration, the license, the permit, all the stuff that you unknowingly, ignorantly consented to in the legal system. You want to pull yourself back out of that. Or if you still want to operate in that, you have to understand it's a booby trap system, okay? But at any point, you can step back up into being a man or a woman. So let me give you an example that helps people just in one day. When we wake up in the morning, we're a man or a woman. So if I wake up in the morning, I'm a woman. I get in my car and I start traveling on the public roads. I have agreed, have chosen through free will to be a driver. That's a legal title. So I just left my number 2 position and I stepped down into a lowly legal title called driver. I don't have to. I can hand my license back. I can hand my registration back. I can drive. I can travel on the roads with private plates and risk getting pulled over. It's a choice, but I've chosen to take that title because I do believe in having insurance, and if somebody hits me in an accident, we're covered and we're taken care of. So I do believe in using that legal title because it benefits me. I choose, okay? And then I might go to the bank and I'm now a consumer or a depositor or a creditor or a debtor or a customer, okay? That's another title, and there are rules that apply to that title. And then I get back in my car and I come home and there's some man standing on my property and he punches me in the face. Well, now I'm a woman because I'm going to hold you accountable as a man, and we're both going back up to number 2 on the totem pole, and I'm going to file a claim against you for harm. So the farmer can say, well, I choose to use the title when it benefits me. But if any man or woman who sometimes acts as agricultural, whatever your terms are over there, agricultural agent, okay, tries to trespass on me, harm my business, harm my family, harm the money that I make, steal my land through extortion, then I'm removing the title of farmer. I'm going to be a man, and I'm going to hold you accountable as a man, and you won't be able to hide behind your title either.
Right. So I've heard you use the word totem pole a couple of times. Is there anything you can share with us to give us some extra information?
Yeah, so let me just give you a visual. Let's see. This is a good visual. I'm going to turn my video off though. Hold on. The internet gods are trying to stop us.
They always do.
Can you disable our video for a second?
I think I can. Let me check.
Screen is just blinking.
See what I can do here.
Here. I found my
Oh, right.
video controls. There it is. Okay. Let's see if I can get to it with the camera. That's the internet working. Okay, so here we go. Totem pole, right? We've all seen one of these somewhere in real life or in books. Okay, so let's just say that the image at the top, the sunburst, is the creator. You can see that, right, Ruby?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just say that the eagle, which is the second symbol on the totem pole, is man and woman. Well, the bowl beneath that and everything beneath that is everything that we've created. So the creator created man and woman. We are the creation of the creator. Only the creator has authority over man and woman. No other man or woman can tell us what to do, period. Genesis, if you get back to the Bible, Genesis was the first trust where the creator gave us dominion over the earth and everything in it. Okay?
Yes.
He entrusted it to us. We created government and legal societies and courts and judges and lawyers. Therefore, all those things are our creation. We have authority over it, not the other way around. They've tricked people so much to think, oh, you have to call the authorities. Oh, report this to the authorities. We are the authorities.
Right.
The word authority comes from author. I am the author of my life. Nobody else is. So then they tricked us into calling ourselves citizens and state nationals and employees and parents and farmers and teachers and all these titles that these societies created. And they created the rules that go along with them. So they got you to say, yes, I'm one of those titles. Great. And they didn't tell you that you're going to lose your rights and your freedoms when you take those titles.
Mm.
It's a
Right.
trap.
Yeah.
Titles are a trap.
Yes. And the way
And
that they present it, that like the court and the judges and the law is like the highest level possible.
Yeah, it couldn't be further from the truth. They are our servants, our public servants, and their marketing campaigns over the past couple hundred years have been brilliant. You know, what do you do for work? What do you do for work? They've programmed us all to ask those three questions. What family are you from? What did your father do? What do you do?
Right.
That's not what defines us.
No, and the thing is that it kind of works as you're saying, like the courts and the judges and the laws are created by men, and it only works because we agreed that it worked, right? Because we all agreed to this reality that it is something that we created and we all support.
Right. So here is their court on the right-hand side of this red bar, the British Accreditation Regency. And here is our court on the left-hand side. So courts were originally designed to uphold law, not legal. Legal is the corruption that has spread through the courts. So when you operate in law as a man or a woman, you are this little blue turquoise man at the top of the court, because the court of Jennifer Goodwin is higher than the Supreme Court of the United States. And that's not an exaggeration or a conspiracy theory. That's a fact.
Right.
So you choose whether to call yourself a man and have all the power and all the rights and all the freedom and a very simple 3-notice process to hold your own court and to get them off your back. Or you choose to take a title and be caught up at the bottom of the totem pole on the right. It's your choice, and that goes back to free will. They can't, you know, if you go back to the Bible, Satan can't drag us to hell without our consent.
No, true. And so, I mean, you're from the United States, of course. What would you say to people if they say, well, yeah, this is United States, but we're in Europe, we're in the Netherlands? What would you say?
It's working all over the world because law was here before man was here. I'm coming back to the video here. Law was here before man was here, and legal expanded through Rome, and Rome still owns all corporations on the planet today, including all the birth certificates. So it spread to all the countries. Law, the way I look at it when presented with that question, if you are armed with the armor of God, if you are using the words that have the highest vibration and frequency built into them, from the creator, then why are we afraid of some legal codes, acts, and statutes and policies, whether it's in the man-made Netherlands, right? A man made that border and called it Netherlands, and the man made the border of America and called it America, and some man made the border of each of the countries in each of the states, and that's all man-made control.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I always say that, you know, the earth doesn't have country borders, you know, man-made country borders. If you look at the world doesn't show you borders. It's the map that's made by men.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It's what's the song? It's a man's world.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and world and earth are two different. Law is earth and world is legal. So they cloned the whole vocabulary and then systematically tricked everyone into the legal vocabulary so they could run their game on us.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, because I think that's very important as well. Just look at the words that you use, the vocabulary. Could you speak a little bit to that? Like what difference would you say there is into what the legal system, because the legal system has all these ways of the way you should say things, the way you should have, you know, the words on paper, or the way you say things.
And it's very complicated.
It is very complicated. Yeah. So if you would keep it simple, yeah. So what would law versus legal? What would the law? What word would you use?
Law is very simple. Okay. Do no harm, in my opinion, is the umbrella law that all other laws fall under. Do no harm. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't cheat. Don't bear false witness. Don't covet your neighbor's wife. We remember this all around the world. We know this inherently as humans. That's law. Okay. Some people call it the 10 Commandments. That's law. We all know that. I don't think you can go to any part of the world and someone wouldn't agree, like, yeah, you shouldn't do harm. You shouldn't harm someone or a living thing. You shouldn't cause harm. And so law is about trespass, wrong, remedy, honor, claims. Hey, I'm putting you on notice. It's very simple. Okay. And legal is about complaints, not claims. And we're just going to complain over here. We're going to create all kinds of controversy that's going to last years and years in the court system. So everybody gets a chance to put their hand in your pocket or your account at the treasury and take money from you.
Right.
Controversy is the food of the legal system, with all this complication and all these words that are there. For example, America is the land. United States is the corporation. Everything has been cloned. Yes. Everything has been cloned. A woman with a child is a mother. In the legal system, she is a parent, which stands for a pair that rents benefits to their offspring.
Right.
Because you signed them over on the birth certificate. So it's a cloned system. It's a counterfeit system, and it mimics and it models just enough so that we go, I think they're one and the same. They're not one and the same. Separate them.
Right, right. And so just to wrap this up, maybe do you have a little example in how this would work for you? Because I get that people might say, well, isn't this what we're supposed to do? How's a way to get out of it? You know, everybody just lives this reality. So what would be a first step?
Most people that I surround myself with are not putting up with this, and they are putting their public servants on notice. They are handling their towns, their counties. They're doing stuff. So if I owned a farm here in America, and this happens a lot, right? We hear the stories. And some man acting as agricultural agent wanted to, number one, step foot on my property without my permission, without an appointment. That's trespass number one, because I would have signs around expressing my law that should you notice to come upon this land without the permission of the woman, I, Jennifer Goodwin, would be seen as a trespass with a fee of $1,000. I say all herein to be true and will verify at open court. So you have to be able to express your law. That goes on my door. So there would be signs, and that agent would get a bill for just stepping foot on my property. then if they wanted to say something like, you need to, give us half of your land, you're gonna steal my property? We're gonna go to court and we're gonna talk to
Right.
judges that know the difference between law and legal. And they do, trust me, they do.
So if I would say that, they would force someone to have like 50% less of their business because otherwise they wouldn't abide to the European Union rules, what would you say to that?
Well, only the farmer is obligated to abide by the European Union rules,
Right.
not the man. Even in their books, it shows these loopholes. It shows that they cannot enforce any of that on a man.
Right.
Not only that, only a man and a man can go into contract, and only a corporation and a corporation can go into contracts. So they're tricking you through your birth certificate name. Actually, it's coming out on TikTok. Your government name is your all capital letter. Jennifer Hall Goodwin is the government name that they created on the birth certificate. That's a business. So only businesses can and corporations can interact with that. I cannot. And that's another way to separate yourself from the system. So I just, it literally only took me 60 days to master this. The original, I got it. I mean, it's so simple. So I encourage people to look into law versus legal, and the true self-governance comes from knowing who you are. I'm a man, I'm a woman of the creator, I'm a creation of the creator. I am a living woman. That's it. I'm a woman. Right. Period. And to start unraveling the vocabulary and start learning how to write notices and how to write your claim in court, not a complaint. Don't go hire a lawyer. You just entered their court. Go up to your court. It's the highest on the planet.
Right. Well,
and educate your community so you can go together.
Exactly. Well, I think that's a very important step. Like this interview was to educate, most of the people. And of course, if anyone has more questions, I will definitely leave like a website or an email address so they can reach out to, because I'm sure there might be a few people that want to learn more about this and would like to have some more information from you.
And it's working all over the world. We have success stories. My mentor, John, who's going to be on a call tomorrow live here, he's been sharing this for 20 years.
Right.
He's had success stories for 20 years and the people before him. But just in the past 2 years, he's been sharing this. I happen to be the face in America that's helping to spread this, but he has people in Australia with major success stories. The UK has our biggest group. They're shutting down all kinds of things. It's happening all over the world because law is the original and legal is the clone. That's
right. Yeah. Wow. Well, okay, cool. So again, if anybody has any questions about this, you can reach out to me. And Jennifer, thank you so much for this. And if there's anything else, we'll probably connect another time.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Good luck.